everyone. Good to see people. How is your Saturday going? Ooh. Mr. Cat, happy birthday. Who do I think will win the Super Bowl? Uh, I mean, I'm pulling for the Eagles. Um, but is it okay so that I don't really care? I just hope nothing, bad happens. I don't want anyone to get hurt at the game, on the field, nothing. There he is. There's the guy. Do I think the Bills game was rigged? Here's the thing. Football moves if you've been to a game in person, you know this. It's so much faster than it is on television. It just seems like it would be really difficult to rig. There are so many people involved. You have to get both teams on board and the refs. Yeah, you could, let's say theoretically you could get the refs to be part of it, but then the situation has to occur where the refs can really affect play. It just seems super unlikely. So I get why people are frustrated, because it was so close, but I just don't think it's logistically possible. That's just my opinion. I know it's not a thing that a lot of people share. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, I was disappointed about the Bills too. It's watching Josh win MVP. Like, we all started to feel like happier again. That was a nice moment. Any recommendations on how to make a Mando helmet? Well, there's a lot. I had a 3D print, but you can do it a lot of different ways. There's tutorials online about how to make them out of foam, out of cardboard. So just Google is your friend and see what other people have done. For Boba Fett, I'm actually going to take the Ruby's helmet and repaint it. So I'm taking basically a toy helmet and gonna give it an accurate paint job to match my armor, and I'm excited to try that too. So there's no one way. Whatever best works your budget, your skill level, your interest. Even if like you can make a helmet out of foam, maybe you don't want to. So who do you have winning the Super Bowl? I really don't care. And I haven't decided if I'm going to be watching it yet, to be honest. We've been talking about maybe just going to a movie or something. So, um, favorite fictional character? Oh, so many good questions. Um, I need tips on videos and making content. It's such a cliche to just be yourself, but content creation is a large quantity game. Like, you're going to be making a lot of video. Even if you don't put out a lot of videos, you're still shooting a lot. So if you start by being someone else, that to me that seems really difficult to sustain. And also, there's only one you. So, and then how I think about that for me, like sometimes I don't like post, not so much here, but on the other platforms. I won't post how I made certain costume pieces because I'm like, oh my gosh, I've seen so many videos about how people made Ahsoka. But just because maybe the way I did it, I had a different idea or a different way of saying it that helps somebody. So don't worry about being someone else. Don't worry if someone is already making content similar to what you're doing. You're gonna make it your way. And especially for YouTube, you cannot give up. YouTube, the other platforms, especially TikTok, are a quick return. Like, you can grow really fast, but YouTube is, you have to be really patient. But I think YouTube pays off bigger. But that's obviously my experience. Thank you. I'm glad people like the most recent video about sledding. There's gonna be a part two. I shot them both at the same time, where Trooper Mom and Grogu sled together, and the ending turned out differently than what I'd written. But you'll see that next Saturday. I haven't even looked at the footage yet because I'm like, oh my goodness. How do I come up with content ideas? It depends. Like for the Grogu skits, I really think about kids and what kids like or what kids are into, whether it's remembering what I liked as a kid or what I see my nieces and nephews are into or my friends' kids. So I try to think about, like you go to the library and get a book about magic. I really try to, how I describe it, like Trooper Mom is the main character, but Grogu drives the story. Does that make sense? So I think about that. For the costume closet, I actually haven't run out of ideas yet. I mean, just thinking about what clothes would have to say. I mean, I think they have a lot to say about how often they're worn, about laundry day, about why and especially with a costume, like why is this costume borrowing my shoes and stuff like that. So far, or who's going to this convention and why. So I haven't run out of ideas yet. It's just been like a what if costumes came to life. What other series do I have? Oh, the Afterlife Room of the MCU. Just I haven't run out of ideas for that yet. Like there's so many aspects of these characters and of thinking about the afterlife. Like I still have to do one on zombies, or why do some people become? Was last night I did think why become some people become ghosts and not others? Um, the one I haven't done as many of recently is the TIE pilots lost on Endor. That I'll be honest, it's a little harder to come up with new ideas because they're stranded alone on a planet. Like there's just not a lot going on. That said, I do have two that I shot before the snow fell, and so I have those working on too. So I just think about scenarios like, what would they be doing? What would they be saying? A lot of what if. Thank you, Crafty Clone. Has a nice comment about how the costume closet are some of her favorites. It's so funny because when I first did one, I just thought it was this weird, really kind of inside baseball video about my specific world and my costumes. And I'm still so surprised how often I hear that people really like it. You heard about me from a cosplay book. Wow, what cosplay book? Favorite costume I've made? I love this question. I can't just pick one. My favorites are the ones that have involved a lot of different techniques, like Mando or Bo-Katan, the Armorer, Zori Bliss. So when all getting to use all my skills, whether it's sewing, pattern making, leatherwork, painting, 3D printing, the whole thing, I'm really proud of having a costume where I can see all those different kinds of work come together. So, are going to be watching any new Marvel movies this year? Yes, we're going to see Captain America, Brave New World on Thursday. Very excited. So I'm not sure if you saw that short. I got to meet Anthony Mackie recently in the city, and so that was super exciting. I'm looking forward to the movie quite a bit. I'm excited to see Harrison Ford take over as General slash Secretary slash President Ross now. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do. We haven't had an MCU movie in over a year. Like, not that Deadpool and Wolverine wasn't, but like that was Deadpool. It was kind of its own thing. You know what I mean? It wasn't helping build the fabric of our current MCU universe as much. I enjoyed it fine, but so now we're getting back to the universe we all know from Avengers for the first time since the Marvels, and I'm excited to see what's new in that story. Am I gonna get the Agatha art book? I get all the art books. Absolutely. They usually take a little while to come out. Do you know when it's coming out yet? Sometimes it's April. Oh, great question. Jennifer Krilla says, "What is your hardest costume to put on?" I don't wear it. It's probably one you haven't seen because I don't wear it a lot because it's so hard to get on. It's actually one of the Mud Troopers from Solo. I can't get it on. There's a few very small handful of costumes I cannot get on by myself. The way that armor threads through the cape thing on my back. I need Jeremy's help. I can't do it alone, and it's a huge pain. So, technically, I need help with Mando and Bo as well, getting things fastened up the back. But I can kind of cheat it for a video. Like if it's not all the way fastened, you can't really tell. For the Mud Trooper, though, for sure, I can't even fake it without Jeremy's help. So. Do I have any Lego sets? Yes, I collect them. I still have all my Lego sets from when I was a kid. I never got rid of anything. Um, oh, Sir Clad, what a kind, generous gift. Thank you so much. Okay, I'll answer your question. So Lego sets, yes, and today as an adult, I collect all the Christmas sets. Every year there's a Christmas set. I get those out. I've been really lucky enough to be gifted some sets, and I recently just got both the Java Sail Barge and the X Mansion, so I'm excited to go with that. And then, I'm sorry, with the gift, you asked me about my pipe dream costume. Two come to mind for different reasons. One, when I'm asked if like resources were limitless, what would you make? And I think my answer is actually the throne room Padme, from Phantom Menace, that red with the glowing eggs on the skirt and the big hair and all the embroidery. Um, if I did it though, I don't think I'd ever really wear it enough to justify the mountain of work that would take, and then just to store it would be really difficult. So I don't think I'd ever actually make it. But I think if resources were unlimited, like I had this huge space and all this time and money, that's probably what I would make. But then another answer to that is the costume that's kind of on a pedestal for me is actually Hoth Leia, just her white snowsuit and that vest. I have owned so many white vests in my whole life, like ever since middle school, just because I just love that look with the white boots. So that I'm kind of holding off on. Like if I ever do that, it has to absolutely be perfect. So like not yet, you know what I mean? But thank you so much for the gift. That's very, very kind of you. And speaking of gifts, there's this feature, Jewels, which I am helping YouTube test out as part of a pilot program. What Jewels is like instead of giving like $1, you buy like a flower for $1, and then you give a flower. So, and then I got an email about it that they're doing special Valentine's gifts that are like, I don't know, hearts and chocolates and stuff like that. So that's what that is. I don't expect anyone to get me any gifts at all. I'm so grateful when you do, but I know it's a crazy time and everything is super expensive and inflation's out of control. So don't spend your hard-earned money on me if you can't spare it. But I am helping test out the feature, so I just want to let you guys know what that was. Best Marvel couple. I've never been asked that. Oh, that's a good one. I'm pretty biased towards Wanda and Vision. I like them a lot. I'm not usually drawn to couples that are like kind of enemies to lovers, that where a lot of their love language is fighting. And I think of like Tony and Pepper, and also quite frankly Han and Leia. No, it's not obviously so, but like people really pedestalize Han and Leia, and that never for me, because they're a lot of their time and energy is spent being insulting each other. And I get that somehow when two red hot people, with fiery tempers get together, that's how it's going to be. That just to me has never seemed something that I'm like, oh, like something I want to attain to. So, yeah, I guess WandaVision, but I was going somewhere with that. Like, there's another decent example of like a good, solid couple in Marvel. I don't think historically Marvel has done love stories great. I know people point to Cap and Peggy, but I just don't think we saw enough. We never really saw them as a couple, really. Like there was a lot of making eyes at each other, but it never really saw what their life is like. Um, so I had an answer to that. Now I lost my train of thought. I'm not sure why. Have many other cosplay besides Star Wars? Yes, the most recent thing I made actually was Agatha all along her coat. I made that in October. Wow, sorry, February. I did the Spider-Man costume. I made Mighty Thor. So I've done Marvel, and I've made Disney costumes. So yeah. But yeah, it's pretty much been so far those three things. I have ideas for other. I just my list of ideas is longer than my mountain of free time. Hi Delphine. What con I'm going to? I'm not sure yet. I'm definitely going to Star Wars Celebration in Japan in April. I'm thinking of going to another con in March, but I'm not totally sure yet. I still am deciding on that one. But once I know, I'll let everybody know. Oh, Courtney, that's so kind of you. Thank you so much. Which Spider-Man actor is my favorite? Oh, that's such a hard one because they're all good in different ways. I think I would answer, Andrew Garfield is the most entertaining. Toby has the best performance, and then Tom's are my favorite movies. So I think I'm copping out, but this just I feel like Toby just had a lot. I don't know. They're all good. I can't pick one, but if I had to pick one, probably Andrew. What do you think of Agatha and Rio? I mean, that's actually another example of a couple where a lot of their we see them together. It's a lot of antagonism, you know, and their love is transactional. Like, you know, I'm giving you favors. I'm protecting my son. Like, is it real affection? If it is, we just didn't get to see it. You know what I mean? Um, I think it could be said in some instance for a lot of couples, like even Wanda and Vision, the time we actually got to see them be together in a real way was so brief because like they got together, we saw them in Infinity War, and then by the end of the movie he's dead. And then even WandaVision, it was technically all in Wanda's mind. So it's a tough one that we haven't really seen a lot of couples like that. Can't wait for the Thunderbolt movie either. Yeah, that's the one I'm actually the most excited about. The trailer is a hoot. It seems like a vibe. There's so many cool characters in there. It seems like it's gonna be like funny and fun. Not that I'm not looking forward to Captain America, I totally am, but that's the one I really, really have like circled on my calendar to say. Can I make an Andrew Garfield Spider-Man suit? I do. I made Toby's, made it. I like the raised webs on Toby's. And then if I think I had another Spider-Man suit, I actually would probably get Tom's a Far From Home suit with like the really dark, it's almost black. It might be black uh, accents. There's something about that one I find really handsome. But I don't think I'm gonna do more Spider-Man suits. I think I'm good with the Andrew one I have. I haven't seen the new Spider-Man on Disney Plus yet. It's been kind of a hectic week, so but I'm looking forward to seeing it. But is it good? Who has seen it? Hi, Finn. Oh, hey Ruth. Hi. How are you? Oh, crafty clone. I'm so glad my videos helped you. But build is actually so old. I just have been so slow to edit the videos. So I'm glad it helped you. I'll for the next build, my Boba Fett build, which I'm working on right now. I was standing the other day. I'm gonna be much more like on it with the videos coming out. The Spider-Man show is fun. Oh, I can't wait to see it. Am I gonna do another Star Trek outfit? I hadn't planned on it, but I get asked that a lot more since I made the Janeway jacket, which was so fun. Um, I've always loved the like Wrath of Khan away team coats. Those are just so fantastic. And I like the uniforms actually from the J.J. Abrams movies too. I think they're very rich. I have like a costume. The first Halloween costumes Jeremy and I ever did were like costumes out of a bag costumes from the Beyond. So maybe I really do one at a time. Like I want to do. I gotta give Boba Fett. It's been so long since I started that thing. I want to clean that off. Maybe something from Skeleton Crew, and we'll see. Oh, some people are getting themselves blocked super easy. I have seen the trailers for Thunderbolts. I think it looks really cool. It's funny. It was playing. They were playing at the Marvel booth in New York Comic Con, and like Jeremy hadn't seen it yet. He's like, "What is this movie?" I'm like, "I know, right? It's gonna be so good." And then also, what's gonna be here before you know it is, oh, Ruth, congratulations on your anniversary. Um, is a Daredevil Born Again is gonna be here next month. I mean, not even just next month, like in 3 or 4 weeks. Isn't it like March 4th? Am I doing any fun skits for Valentine's Day? Oh, you know what? I hadn't thought of doing that. Um, no, no plans for Valentine's Day skit. Not there's a lot of love in my skits like that. No, I don't think I've ever done a Valentine's Day skit. So, huh. Well, maybe next year. Would you make a Yelena, a ghost, or a taskmaster? Ooh, I think my favorite of those three is Ghost, for sure. I've always loved that design, but to actually make it, that suit, at least the suit in Ant-Man and the Wasp is really almost like 3D printed, this very unique texture. I'm not sure how I would do it. Maybe you have to find that fabric, but that's the look. Uh, would be my favorite of the three from their previous movies. At the top of my head, I like Taskmaster, but I like Taskmaster's look in a Black Widow 2, and I like Yelena is so cool. So probably it would go Ghost, Taskmaster, Yelena. Oh, Pineapple Cat, that is so kind of you. Thank you so much for the gift. That's so generous. I really appreciate that. Thank you. And I'm so glad you enjoy the videos. Who am I rooting for the Super Bowl? I mean, if I had to pick one, Eagles, but I don't even really think I'm gonna watch it, to be honest. Would you make a Glinda cosplay? I don't think so. I think if I had to pick one of the two, I'd go Elphaba for sure. But the tough thing about Elphaba's costume is that they're all black. I'm sure they were really dark green because black just disappears on camera, but that's hard to see all the detail you put into it. So it's not really all black costumes. I don't love a lot unless there's a ton of texture. So no plans at the moment. I think if I ever did a Wicked costume, I would probably do like one of the citizens of Oz. They have some of these incredible like coats and dresses, but no plans yet. Jeremy has appeared on these lives. We are getting some big snow in a couple hours. I'm trying to I was gonna go live before it got too dark. So he's just doing a couple things like moving some things in the garage to put the car in the garage. He's just kind of getting ready for snow right now. But yeah, he's been on these lives. Not recently though. He should be in the next one. Oh, go Spartan 59. I am so glad you like the videos. I really appreciate that. They don't do the numbers they used to do, so I have somehow thought about maybe stopping Trooper Mom or putting in a hiatus for a while, but I love hearing that people still love it. Never done Horizon Zero Dawn cosplay. Yes, I will see Wicked Part 2. I did see the Broadway show, so I know what happens, but I'm really excited for the movie. I'm glad it's gonna be it. I mean, November's gonna be here before you know it. Grogu hands off Valentine's. Like Grogu needs like a classroom to go to, you know? He doesn't have that yet. I'm like a one puppet kind of creator. So, Ronaldo or Messi, who is better? I don't know. I really don't know. Will I make a Spider-Man costume? I did Toby's. I did it's one of my more popular videos. I think it's my most watched costume making video, actually, surprise or not. But yeah, no plans for another Spider-Man costume, I don't think. Favorite costume that I've made? I answered this before, but I love answering. It's any costume that has sort of multiple techniques in it. Like if there's leather work and 3D printing and painting and sanding and sewing and pattern making, that's what I'm the most proud of, you know. What I want to do kind of moving forward though is kind of what I did last year. Like, so I do a big costume like Ahsoka with armor and all the things. And then the next one I do is just like sewing, which is, you can kind of just sit there and sew. There's no waiting for paint and glue to dry, you know what I mean? Making a Spider-Man dress, Misty, that sounds unbelievable. Are you making like Spider-Man, like Gwen dress, a Miles Morales dress? Would you ever go to TorCon at RAC College? Sure, ask them to invite me. Hey, Ruben. Okay, so Sophia asked a great question. Do I make my own CADs? If so, what program do I use? When I've designed stuff to 3D print, it's only been for really tiny things like a rank badge or something that has like super simple shapes or things I can kind of do very quickly, relatively. And I've just used Tinkercad, just like super easy, put shapes together and meld them together. And I found that fun and relaxing. Anything big that's, you know, like a helmet with all these curves, I have never designed that. I am more than happy to give an artist my money and buy the file. I don't really use free files. When I've tried for even small things, most of the files, in my experience, just haven't really been good or useful. So I always buy my files and I just kind of turn to the community and see like who has good Mando files and who has And then sometimes it's not a necessity. Like when I got Bo-Katan's files from Josh Getz, he was the only one that had split the chess piece to print on a smaller printer. At the time, the printer I had couldn't do the whole chess piece in one. So even though the dimensions of it weren't my favorite, it was the one I could print on my machine. So I buy my files. I don't design them, and I hopefully always shout out the artist, even though it's like I'll do a video series and it's like the same artist for every different piece, because I want to make sure they get the credit for the work they do. You should do a video where you make DIY costumes. I have I'm posting my armor build series right now. I think I have 3 or 4 more videos left. Well, I just posted the gloves. I still have to do a video on the cape, the helmet, and then also I remade the chest piece in in I 3D printed it. So hey, Sephiroth, I'm doing good. Courtney, thanks for being here. I can't try to speak French. I tried a little for a video once and I'm not good. When did you become a Buffalo Bills fan? I'm born and raised in Western New York, so I've never not been a Buffalo Bills fan. It's a hometown team. So, and there's some statistic for the NFL in particular that most, not all, but most NFL fans, like the super high percentage, they root for the team based on their region where they're from. Which is kind of why sometimes I don't really understand the whole push to make this international thing, like having games in the UK and Brazil and Germany and so forth. I guess people like it, but I'm like, this feels like a very hyper local thing to me, but that's just my experience. Did you like the Sony Spiderless universe? So you're talking about like Mobius and the Venom and all that. I have to be honest, I haven't seen them all. But I liked Venom. I saw all the Venom movies and I thought they were fun. But I'm a big fan of movies that don't take themselves too seriously and have some fun with it. Um, what I have seen of the others has been a little hit or miss, which is really a shame because it seemed like they could be really creative with it. But I thought Venom was good. Best song from Wicked? Oh man. It's so funny. Jeremy is always humming. What's the one he's always humming? Not Dancing Through Life, but I can't think of it right now. I'm a big Defying Gravity girl. I like the part before it gets big, like when it's quiet with just the two of them. But I don't want it, like that part before it gets big. That's my favorite part of that song. So, hey, Andy Irish, how are ya? Name some other songs from Wicked, and I know the one. Once you say it, it's the one that Jeremy's always humming. I'm like, why are you always humming that one? It's something about what's the one about when they get to Oz? What's that song? Oh, this is driving me crazy. No, not Loathing. That's a good one too. Hey, Great Ninja 23. Oh, One Short Day in the Emerald City. That's it. Thank you. That's the one Jeremy's always humming. One short day in the Emerald City. That's very catchy. I think that would be Jeremy's favorite, and then my favorite is Defying Gravity. But they're all good. There's not one song like we've had the movie on because I have it on digital that at home, and there's not been one song where I've been like, oh, skip through this. No, you're like, oh, this one's good too. Oh, this one's good too. Oh, this one's good too. You know. Um, Crafty Clone, great questions. How or when did you learn to sew? And I'm excited for Andor season 2. Okay, so I learned to sew. I mean, we all take like home ec or whatever it's called now, but I didn't take a class. It's something I always wanted to really learn, and I wanted to get a machine, the whole thing. So when I moved to New York City, I finally took a class. They have classes in the fashion district for like beginning sewers, and there's like a room full of sewing machines. And I took like a 1 hour class and loved it. And I immediately signed up for a 1 week class. So you just went every day and you sewed, and they taught you everything from the beginning, how to read a pattern, pressing your like every bit of it. So it wasn't a rushed class. It was great. I wish everyone could do it. I just know it was something kind of specific to, big cities that have those. Um, and I could use their machines. So even before I had a machine, I could learn to sew. So I've just really loved it. I started making like clothes, and I started making clothes for like my friends' babies and stuff like that. And then I started making costumes. So it's super fun. And it's a skill I've always really wanted to have, and really glad I have. Andor season 2, absolutely, I'm super excited. I mean, it's so funny because I'm so excited, but then you're like, well, once it gets here, that's the end of that story, because there's not going to be a season 3. But the trailer is so fun, and seeing like Krennic back and K2, all some of my favorites from Rogue One. I'm really excited for it. Yeah, crafty, exactly. I know, like back in the day, places like Joann's or Michael's had a little classroom where they would do classes. That stopped for COVID, and I don't know if that ever really came back. But just the value of like not having to invest in a machine, because sewing it's just it's a it's an equipment heavy and geography heavy hobby, right? Like as anyone who sews knows, you don't get just the machine. You need like a seam ripper and a ruler and like pins and scissors and you need like a bunch of stuff. So it's hard. Those kinds of hobbies are hard to jump into when the initial investment is relatively big. So taking a class was a great way to be like, oh, I'm curious about this, and then do I like it? And it was great. So I wish more cities had them. Oh, you got a machine when you were younger? Yeah, my mom wouldn't let me touch her sewing machine growing up. So and I'm one day, I don't know how to sew on like a professional machine like they have at fashion school and stuff. Um, I had to have a consumer machine. I am, by the way, going live on my iPad, and the chat, no matter I set it to live chat, it keeps disappearing. So that's why some just pauses. 'Cause I'm like, where'd the chat go? Nintendo boys, I love your costumes, classes, skits. Please do more. Thank you. I did kind of take a little break during when I was making a whole bunch of Buffalo Bills videos. But yeah, they're coming back. I have a couple. I have a bunch shot. I have a bunch more I'm working on writing right now. Because there's some new people. So yeah. Green. What'd you say? Oh, Leona has this, how much snow do we get every year? It depends. This one's been a little bit of a snowier winter, which has been nice. Um, it kind of not a lot. And then she asked if it's ever the power's ever gone out while I've been filming, and I don't think so. Um, I don't think power's gone out when I've been editing, but not when I've been shooting. And there's enough like wind and trees around here that we lose power occasionally. We lose power enough that we got a generator, but then once we bought a generator, we've actually never used it because the power will go out, and we'll be like, all right, let's give it, because usually when the power goes out, you get it right back relatively quick. And then this one time we're like, it had been a little bit like an hour, like, you know what, it's a nice day because it was just really windy. Let's try to hook it up. And we were about to turn it on and the power came back. So buying the generator was a guarantee we would never need to use it. Oh, Nikita, thank you for your kind comments on my Ahsoka cosplay. That's another one I've been thinking about doing. Her white look from Ahsoka episode 7 and 8. But Boba Fett first. Boba Fett first. Oh, that's great. Your original machine, Ruth. I was just reading that. That sounds really cool. Favorite food? I can't pick one. I love, there's so many food. Is this here to say foods I don't like? Like, I actually don't like mayonnaise. Don't really like marshmallows. I've really tried with Brussels sprouts. People are like, oh no, 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 you need to have them with like oil and garlic and truffle oil and the whole thing and Parmesan cheese. I'm like, that sounds amazing. And to me, it still tastes like a little ball of dirt. Um, yeah, but most things I like. I like sushi. I like Mexican food. I like Indian food. I look like your algebra teacher. I'll bet she is beautiful. So, oh, Jacob, thank you. That's kind of you to say. I got my hair done yesterday, so I haven't washed it yet. So it's still like the blowout from the salon. I think the Bills will go to the Super Bowl and win too. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up because I need to do a couple things before it gets fully dark and snow's coming. So I'll take a few more questions and then we'll do it next time. Oh my gosh, Grogu fell over. I'll mention again, I am helping YouTube test out the Jewels feature, which is just another way to give a gift. I don't expect anyone to give gifts to me, but they do have new gifts this month for Valentine's Day. So they asked me to mention that, and I'm mentioning it. Snow is supposed to come at around 6, I think. So it's getting kind of, as I'm sitting here, there's a window right here. It's getting darker, but also the sun is setting. So is it getting darker because the snow's coming, or darker because it's just getting darker? Favorite Star Wars character? I can't pick one. It's Leia, it's Jyn Erso, and Chirrut Imwe, also from Rogue One. Can I do the Grogu voice? I can. Hey, Mom. Hey, Mom, why are you going live? Mom, I'm hungry. Mom, I want a snack. Valentine's Day, doing anything special? I think we're just going to dinner like we usually do. And then we usually give each other like very small, useful gifts. You know what I mean? Like if Jeremy is out of his favorite kind of notebook that he uses, I get him more or that kind of thing. Hi, Thanos. Crafty Clone also asks, oh, ML, thank you so much. That's such a lovely comment. Crafty asks if I've ever done a cosplay from animated Star Wars. I don't believe I have. I have done a Snow Scout, which is more like a concept art kind of costume that only appeared like in a toy and as a skin in Battlefront. So I think that's the only one I've ever done that's not had an actual real life reference. But that's the kind of Star Wars fan, and every Star Wars fan is different. I like textures and fabrics and things like that. So those are the kind of costumes that I'm drawn to. A costume that's drawn, nothing wrong with that, but it's not something that I personally, aesthetic-wise, I'm going to be drawn to as much. I like making costumes where I like seeing that fabric and texture on screen kind of thing. So Thanos asks, have I watched Squid Game? I watched for the first season, and I talked about this in another live. It's not really for me. I'm a little squeamish. I don't love gore. And then the deaths in Squid Game are basically like assassinations. A lot of putting guns to people's heads. It's just not something I found myself really enjoying watching. I get why it's a big deal. I get why the storytelling, the suspense, everything about it's very original, all that, but it's just not for me. And I won't be watching season 2 just because it's aesthetically just hard to. Nintendo Boys. Oh, this is a good question. Why did I start the Trooper Mom series? I did a video about 2 stormtroopers, because there's that scene in Mandalorian, the first season, the season finale or the 7th episode of those 2 scout troopers that kidnap Grogu, and it's Adam Pally and Ted Lasso, blanking on his name, that actor, Jason Sudeikis, and they're arguing, and I remember that being captivated by that scene, like just seeing 2 trooper grunts just talk about like this alien they had to abduct and what their boss might think. I had never seen anything like that in Star Wars. I thought it was really kind of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. So I made a skit keeping Sudeikis' dialogue but replacing Adam Pally's with my own about them, what to do about Grogu. And I had the idea, well, what if one of them, instead of like punching him, adopted him? So I did that skit. It was really fun to do. And so then I'm like, well, let me do a follow. Well, what happens next? So the one trooper is on the run with Grogu, and that video was my first video ever to get 1 million views. So I'm like, oh, maybe I should make more. And so I've been making more ever since. So if you got the chance to be one of the background characters in a franchise, would you take it? Absolutely. I'd be a tree. I'd be like a supply cabinet. Of course. Are you kidding? Planning any Disney trips this year? We already took Jeremy ran the marathons. We did that one. We usually go again, but nothing's for sure on the calendar yet. So, but we'll go again. I think we usually go at least twice more. So, okay, I'm gonna wrap it up. We'll do one more question, then I'm gonna wrap it up. Mr. Zach TV, hi. Remember from 3 years ago, I asked you a Baby Yoda video and put him in bed. I remember Zach. I don't remember the bed idea though. So, but hi, it's so good to see you here. And then lastly, I'll say thank you for the nice comment about my hair. I just got it done. That's why it looks like extra shiny because I had it blown out. Okay, I have to go. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. What's coming out tomorrow? Oh, tomorrow I'm doing another Afterlife Ruin of the MCU. I think it's a skit. I haven't decided which one. Yeah. I think it's the first time everyone is in it. All the witches, all like everyone. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not sure. Or I might do the one, oh, I'm going to do the one I think when we introduce Captain Carter. Because I had that costume and she hasn't shown up yet. So that's the one going to be for tomorrow. I had to think it out. Because I've had a couple shot, but I haven't decided what order I'm going to put them out. But yeah, so Captain Carter arrives in the afterlife. That's tomorrow morning. So I'm putting together the video of Jeremy and my skating. So lots of fun things coming up. So thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate all the love. It means a lot to me. And we'll see you next time.